Have you ever heard of a pet that refuses to leave its owner's side, no matter what? When a young woman named Emily lay in a hospital bed, caught in the grip of a life-threatening accident, her loyal cat, Whiskers, wouldn't budge. No amount of coaxing, no gentle hands could move her away. Doctors and nurses began to wonder, why was this little cat so determined to stay by Emily's side? And then, the shocking truth came out. What they discovered would bring even the toughest hearts to tears. Emily had always been known for her kind, quiet nature. To most people, she lived a simple life, but she shared a deep, almost unbreakable bond with her cat, Whiskers. Whiskers had been more than a pet. She was Emily's closest companion, her friend through all of life's ups and downs. They were inseparable, a team, and no one thought anything could come between them. But then came the accident, a devastating event that left Emily fighting for her life in a hospital bed. Family and friends gathered, waiting and hoping for a miracle. Doctors and nurses did everything they could help her. But there was one thing that no one could quite understand: Whiskers' behavior. From the moment she slipped into the hospital, the little cat had taken her place at Emily's side. No one could remove her, and Whiskers refused to leave, day or night. It wasn't just unusual, it was as though Whiskers knew something everyone else didn't. She hissed and growled if anyone got too close to Emily, guarding her with a focus that went beyond simple loyalty. It left everyone wondering, what was it that Whiskers saw or sensed in that hospital room? Could there be something hidden, something only Whiskers understood? The question lingered in the minds of everyone who saw the pair. Why was Whiskers acting so fiercely protective? Was there something more to this story than anyone could see? From the moment Emily arrived in the hospital, Whiskers became a fixture in her room. No amount of urging, no gentle push, could convince her to leave. Each time a doctor or nurse approached, Whiskers braced herself at Emily's side, her eyes watchful, her body tense. It didn't matter if the staff was there to adjust a monitor, change a bandage, or even just check on Emily's progress. Whiskers was having none of it. And when they tried to move her, the little cat would growl, her low rumble a fierce reminder that no one should disturb her best friend. Over time, this protective behavior became almost eerie. Hospital staff were astonished. They'd never seen anything like it. It wasn't just a pet being protective. It was as if Whiskers sensed a danger that no one else could feel. The intensity in her eyes, the determination in every stance. There was something. Whiskers was holding on to something that kept her from ever stepping away. One day, a nurse tried gently to lift her, only for Whiskers to turn and hiss, her tail puffed up, eyes blazing. It was a small but chilling moment. This quiet, gentle cat, now fierce and unyielding. Whiskers wouldn't let anyone come between her and Emily, as if every fiber of her being was committed to protecting her. For those watching, the question was no longer why was Whiskers there, but what exactly was she protecting Emily from? As the days passed, the doctors began to wonder, was there something Whiskers knew that they didn't? Was there something hidden, some danger close by that only she could detect? With every shift change, every new visitor to Emily's bedside, Whiskers grew more vigilant, her gaze never leaving her owner's face. It was as if Whiskers was guarding a secret, one that nobody could even begin to guess. Then one quiet night, as the staff settled into their routines and Emily lay sleeping, Whiskers did something unexpected. For the first time, she moved from her usual spot. A nurse on duty noticed the shift and, feeling a moment's curiosity, approached Emily's bed, hoping to finally check her vitals without a confrontation from the fierce little protector. But as the nurse leaned in, she noticed something, a piece of paper carefully tucked beneath Emily's pillow. The nurse reached out and gently slid the note out, her hand trembling slightly, feeling as though she were intruding on something sacred. The handwriting was small, delicate, and the message, scrawled in soft ink, sent a chill through her. It read, "I'm sorry. I'll always protect her." The nurse felt her heart skip a beat. She glanced around, almost expecting someone to step forward and explain. But the room was silent, with only the quiet hum of the hospital machines breaking the stillness. Who had left this message? And what did it mean? The nurse felt as if she'd stumbled upon a puzzle, one that was woven into the fabric of Emily and Whiskers' story, a mystery that had somehow crossed the boundaries of life and love. In that moment, she understood why Whiskers wouldn't leave, why this little cat was more than just a loyal pet. She was a guardian, holding on to something profound and unspoken. But the question still hung in the air, unanswered. Who had left the note? And what was it that they were trying to protect Emily from? The memories start to unfold, snapshots of Emily and Whiskers before they ever stepped foot in the hospital. Emily had been through her share of difficult days, times when she felt alone, facing struggles that seemed too big to handle. But there was always one constant by her side, Whiskers. From the time Emily brought her home as a kitten, Whiskers had sensed when her human needed comfort, curling up beside her when no words could help, offering the quiet companionship that only a pet could give. Their bond wasn't ordinary. It was woven out of shared moments, silent companionship, and an unspoken understanding that grew deeper with each passing day. Then there were the times Whiskers had done something unusual, like the way she'd suddenly appear by Emily's side when someone unfamiliar came around. It was as if Whiskers could sense Emily's discomfort before she even realized it herself. And each time, Whiskers would place herself protectively at Emily's feet or nudge her with a soft paw, a gentle reminder that Emily wasn't alone. Emily started to notice these patterns, realizing that Whiskers could pick up on things she hadn't even noticed. In moments of Emily's life when shadows of doubt and fear crept in, Whiskers was always there. It became especially noticeable when Emily found herself in a troubling relationship, one that left her feeling uncertain, sometimes even frightened. Every time that person raised his voice or gave her that cold stare, Whiskers would come running, positioning herself between Emily and the source of her fear. The people around her might not have seen it, but Whiskers did. She knew when Emily was in danger. And she wasn't just a pet anymore. She was Emily's silent protector, always watching, always ready to be there when no one else was. Those memories bring everything into focus. The countless times Whiskers saved her, stood by her, and sensed things others couldn't. Whiskers wasn't just her pet. She was Emily's shield, her loyal guardian, who had seen the danger that even Emily had ignored. And as Whiskers kept her post in that hospital room, it became clear that this wasn't just loyalty. It was a vow to protect, no matter what. Dr. Harris, who had been monitoring Emily's condition, couldn't ignore the peculiar behavior of Whiskers. He'd seen pets that stayed close to their owners, but Whiskers' actions were something entirely different. It was like the cat was keeping watch over Emily, almost as if she sensed a threat that no one else could see. After days of observing, the doctor started piecing together the puzzle. He thought back to the injuries Emily had sustained, which had seemed odd from the beginning. The impact marks didn't match the story of a simple accident. It was a realization that sank in slowly, filling him with a sense of unease. Emily's accident wasn't as innocent as it appeared. Something, or rather, someone was responsible for it. And Whiskers, this fiercely loyal cat, seemed to know it. She had been on edge, protecting Emily with a vigilance that now made sense. As Dr. Harris dug deeper into Emily's past, a troubling picture began to emerge. Emily had recently ended a difficult relationship, one that had taken a toll on her emotionally, and, as he began to suspect, maybe even physically. Whiskers had been the first to sense something was wrong back then. And now, lying protectively by her side, she seemed to know the truth that no one else did. It was as if Whiskers was keeping watch not just for Emily's recovery, but to ensure that nothing could hurt her again. The revelation hit him hard. Whiskers wasn't just any cat. She was a true guardian, one who understood that her job wasn't over yet. Her loyalty was deeper than anyone could have imagined. It was as if she had appointed herself Emily's silent defender. And even now, in that quiet hospital room, Whiskers remained vigilant, sensing the danger that had already hurt Emily once. It happened slowly. The soft, steady sound of purring was the first thing Emily noticed as she drifted back into consciousness. Her eyes opened, blurry at first, but gradually she could make out the familiar figure, curled up by her side. Whiskers. She was right there, just as she'd been since the day Emily entered the hospital, refusing to leave her even for a moment. Emily lifted a hand, weakly brushing her fingers through Whiskers' fur, and as she did, a flood of memories rushed back. Every quiet moment of comfort, every warning sign Whiskers had sensed long before Emily did, came rushing to the surface. A warmth spread through Emily's chest, a realization dawning on her that was almost overwhelming. Whiskers wasn't just her cat. She was something far more profound. Whiskers had sensed danger, protected her, stayed by her side with a dedication that went beyond anything Emily had ever known. This little creature, with her soft purr and gentle presence, had been a silent guardian, never wavering, always there when Emily needed her most. And now, looking into those familiar eyes, Emily could feel the depth of love and protection that had saved her life without her even knowing it. Whiskers had been more than a friend. She'd been a true lifesaver. As the days passed, Emily's gratitude only grew. She realized that Whiskers' loyalty and love weren't just instincts. They were an unbreakable bond that had shielded her from harm. Whiskers had known when Emily was in danger, even when Emily herself hadn't. She had stayed by her side, protected her silently, and refused to leave even when others might have given up. In the quiet moments that followed, Emily came to understand that Whiskers' loyalty wasn't just about companionship. It was a profound act of love and protection. Sometimes, the truest love doesn't come in words or grand gestures. It comes wrapped in fur and whiskers, in the quiet presence of a friend who won't let you face the world alone. Emily had found a guardian in Whiskers, a loyalty beyond words, and a love that had saved her life in ways she'd never expected. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share your own pet stories below.